How do you make money on the side? Cleaning evicted homes. I did it for my landlord during high school and college. $10 an hour under the table. I now have a strong stomach. Carpentry, plumbing, and flooring skills. It sucks when you find used condoms or shit on the walls. But hey, I score some neato stuff that people leave behind. I also did private housekeeping for some wealthy families in college as well. Same rate. Plus they would give me small bonuses for holidays and such. Edit. You're also concerned that I only charge $10 an hour. I was a teenager at the time. And I come a severely depressed area of the country. This thread is about making money on the side, not make a living off it. I work through a corporate housekeeping company now. And I only make $7.55 an hour. I fix iPhones and other broken screens as another side job. And I overpriced out the ass for that. Housekeeping was merely another thing to do. Plowing driveways. I live in a town half full of rich yuppies, the other half's country folk who wisely invested in some sort of plowing device, whether it be a four-wheeler or a tractor in the middle of nowhere basically. They all have these huge ass houses with long ass driveways. But no means to plow them. $10 a drive and I feel like I'm ripping them off since I also ask for free rein to sled all over their property. Takes me maybe 10 minutes. Good lord folks. I'm not a goddamn idiot. I approach them with the price and the promise I won't get the cops called on me for trespassing so I can snowmobile all over the place. I also like helping my neighbors and community and they are in turn helpful and appreciative of me. I'm not being taken advantage of. A trespassing fine's like $250 and I negate that with 10 minutes of my time for which I get paid $10. I buy cars that have repairable problems or at auction. Cars that are dirt cheap. Basically. I fix them up, clean them up and get them purring like they just drove off the lot. Then I sell them for much more than I paid and invested in parts. I flip like 2 or 3 a month sometimes. I've made over $1.000 on more than one occasion. One time I made like $3.000. But I got a ridiculous deal on the original purchase. I'm a party princess. I dress up as Disney princesses, with minor alterations and such to avoid getting a cease and desist letter from Disney. And entertain kids at parties. You kind of have to be at least a little good with kids. And have activities planned. And know your character inside and out. But yeah. I'm basically a group of children's new god for an hour or two. And I make $50.70 an hour. It's pretty cool. I also go to yard sales. Buy stuff that will sell, shoes, accessories, antiques, and sell it on eBay. That brings in anywhere from $100 $600 a week. Edit. So I guess this is my Reddit claim to 15 minutes fame so far. Where I admit I play dress up and get paid for it. My dad and I deliver hot tubs for a small pool company. We have a special trailer that makes it super easy. People buy these $6,000 plus hot tubs that weigh upwards of 1,000 pounds. And then realize they can't deliver it themselves. That's when we come in and charge $200 for an easy one or $300 if it has to go on its side. We also remove people's old hot tubs. Oftentimes they think it's beyond repair so they pay us to get rid of it. We then fix it and resell it. It's become quite the moneymaker. I write top 10 lists for a site called listverse.com. They pay $100 a list and haven't rejected a single list I've sent so far. I used to write for the comedy site Cracked.com, but Listverse pays better and all readers do on Cracked is bitch about every little thing in an article. Mystery shopper. You essentially get paid anywhere between $15 to $200 to spy on people. And it's a great acting opportunity as well because each listing will have you act a certain way towards staff employees. Believe it or not. Most of the time it's your employer's way of checking up on you if you're in the service industry or doing retail. Sometimes you're paid to act like a total bitch, sound like an extremely annoying, overly concerned customer. Which can take up a lot of their time. And sometimes you're just trying to gauge the seller's knowledge base concerning the product being sold, which may take less than 5 minutes to accomplish. Chromecast did this a lot. It sounds kind of weird, but it's a ton of fun. Most of the time you even get to keep the item that you bought. And your payment nearly always covers the cost of the item plus a bonus that helps cover traveling expenses. The jobs over $40 are very rare, and most people jump on them. But you can take a ton of smaller jobs in an area and pull a few $100 a day on the weekend if you're incredibly efficient. Warning: some places are scams. So you've pretty much have to know a guy gal in the business and they'll point you to the best and most reliable companies to work with. Edit. Clarification. You're not supposed to be a dick. That was very poor wording on my part and I apologize. That's how I feel rather than how I actually act because I feel like I'm being paid to waste their time. There is an airport near my house and a guy that owns an airplane repo business. He often has to repo planes, their jets and the like, in other countries. Sometimes they are repoed from drug lords who forgot to pay the bill. I go along with him and his pilot to retrieve the craft. We fly to the airstrip airport in his own jet. He serves the papers, and I serve as muscle. I'm not a big guy, so I make do with what I have. What I have is a full kit of body armor, an AR-15, and a beard. I usually make $3,000 per run. About 5-8 runs a year. Nothing ever happens as they are usually very cordial about the whole ordeal. But I still remain asshole puckered ready every time we repo a plane. I cook food for a friend of mine. She is gluten-free, actual celiacs, not fad dieting, and vegetarian. She's also started some diet that massively restricts the amount of fats and proteins she can have. Oh. And this woman hates to cook. So for $50 a week, I make 2 big dishes for her that she can have for dinner all week. I really love difficult cooking challenges. So the job's been pretty fun and it's been a great way to motivate myself to cook healthier and get some extra cash. I wrote an algorithm that finds miscategorized auctions on eBay. I run that list through a financial model that predicts the resale value against the minimum bid. 95% of the time, I get the auction for the minimum bid. Then, I repost the same auction back on eBay with a shorter bid duration and in the right category. I then just reroute the shipping to the new buyer. Been doing this since 2009. Invest about 30 minutes a day, and make $45k a year on it. I sell spreadsheets to small businesses. My friends initially laughed at me when I started, but over the past several years I've been able to save enough, you acute 80,000, so I'm now in the position to let my wife stay off work whilst she looks after our 6-month-old baby. And if anyone wants to help me crack the American market, drop me a message as I'm willing to pay a bit of commission to anyone who can help generate some sales. Edit. Thanks for your responses. For anyone looking to help, we can set up a discount code unique to you and then all you need to do is go away and sell the software. I can then run a report and let you know what you've sold and give you an agreed amount of the profit. I need to work out the finer details, but it should be quite simple, I hope. Astronomer here. When not doing my day job, I do money on the side by writing freelance articles for various science magazines, like Astronomy, Sky and Telescope, and now working for an assignment for Discover. This can be for various topics in astronomy, from a cosmic ray observatory in Argentina to neutron stars that merge with regular stars to how to find extrasolar planets with radio signals. Basically, whatever I find interesting and know my teenage self would find interesting. For anyone really interested, my latest is actually in the current, i.e. February issue of Astronomy, on the South Pole Telescope. Close bracket. Anyway, what's really nice about this is I'm a PhD student, and these articles pay really well. Like, I don't write for less than $1,000 an article anymore. To be fair, I've also been doing this a few years. You won't stop there. With that money I fund my various weekend trips around Europe, which is a really awesome sideline for me. I work as a shot clock operator for college basketball games. It pays about $30.75 a game depending on the institution. If there is both a men's game and a women's game, it is doubled. It couldn't be easier. Literally all you do is hit a button to restart the shot clock when one of three things happens. A foul. A change in possession. Ball hits the rim. It's also nice because I don't officially work for any one college. They ask me if I can work games and I can pick and choose when and where I want to work. I usually do it about every other weekend. But someone could easily do it almost every day. I develop websites at work. I develop websites on the side too. But with languages I am more passionate about learning. Co-founding a startup these days, so I have no income from it, but I do have equity. Before that I was pulling around an extra $30 to $45k a year after taxes. But I was working crazy hours. Burned out and decided to do a startup with less pressure due to setting my own timelines. I give middle-aged ladies horseback riding lessons. They pay well. And it's more of a therapy session for them to vent about their kids while I lead them around than actually working out or learning to ride. Kids want to learn about how to ride and horsemanship. Most middle-aged ladies I teach just want to talk and have someone listen to them for an hour. Pays me better than my normal job. And it's probably cheaper than actual therapy for them. Teaching younger people to actually ride is more fun for me though. Win-win for everyone involved. Photo assistant. Starts at $250 a day in a large city and meals are included. I pick up a few days work as a photo assistant every month, which is plenty to cover my rent and living expenses. If you have working knowledge of basic photo gear and can lift heavy things, the work is very easy. Usually it's just setting up lighting at the beginning of the shoot and taking it down at the end. Sometimes you'll make adjustments to lighting mid-shoot. Don't be a creep with models. Stay off your cell phone. And always volunteer. You'll find yourself getting called back for shoots and recommended for well-paying out-of-town shoots. Last week I was in California. Next week I'll be in Miami. Pretty nice for a job that doesn't require a degree or any commitment. I used to work at my school calling alumni and begging for money. We would start the call by asking how they were, telling them about the school and what was new, and then blindside them with the begging. It was kind of ridiculous. Because we were supposed to ask everyone, even if they clearly couldn't afford it. I got fed up with making people mad. And stopped. Even though it got me about $400 a month. I write and produce cable TV shows. Some more popular than others. Most of these jobs only last 6-9 months. So a couple months ago I started delivering pizzas for a Badass pizza joint downtown LA to earn extra cash between gigs. A couple times now I've delivered pizzas to residences that had a TV show playing in the background I produced. I've never said anything as it's kind of inconsequential. And besides, who would believe that some punk pizza delivery guy was also a TV producer? Right? But the feeling of irony and satisfaction knowing that I'm keeping people entertained and fed is very gratifying. It makes me sleep better knowing I've done my job. A few years ago I built a niche blog about a specific hair care method. I wrote about half the articles on it. I paid freelance writers to write the other half. I came up with topics, keywords, etc. I placed 2 AdWords ads on each page. I haven't touched the site in about a year and the amount I'm earning around $30 a month. Not a ton of money. But if I had the time I'm sure I could improve on the blog. Keep posting and make more. Plus I'm earning that money doing zero work and paying for nothing other than the domain name. Haven't made any money yet. And are in fact about $1,000 in the hole. But we're trying to do beekeeping and local honey sales. First colony got wiped out by larger yellow jacket hives. Finally found a big one on a neighbor's land. Dug the thing up. It was massive. Close bracket. Second colony died because my so wanted to check on the hive a few days before a big storm hit. Bees didn't have time to reseal the hive and water got in. Dropped the temp. And they died. Third colony was never very strong. Really weak queen. Kept hoping they would grow themselves a new queen but they never did. Died 3 weeks ago during the cold snap because they didn't have the mass to generate enough heat. So that's $600 in bees queens gone. Then we had destroyed equipment due to a massive wax mothworm infestation in our stored gear. So, we're learning. It's still fun. We just need to work at it more and eventually start bringing in some cash. We also are growing an orchard. Working on recipes still, but plan on selling preserves alongside the honey. Walking dogs. 2 years out of college and lucky enough to have a job in my field, but it didn't pay much. I wanted to move out of my parents' house last year and needed a part-time job to help pay the rent and bills. I was absolutely willing to sacrifice my free time to move out and be on my own. I found a dog walking company and told them my situation and my hours available. They set me up with a couple walks to start out, which then turned out to be 5-6 a day. Each walk was about 20 minutes long and I would make anywhere from $9 to $14 per walk. I averaged about $1,200 extra per month without working in the weekends. When I did work weekends and put more time into the part-time job, I came out with $2,000 extra per month. I have recently quit because I made so much off of it I don't need it anymore. I also got a raise, which helped. It was a great part-time job because I basically made my own hours and got to walk dogs. I didn't have to be a cashier and deal with assholes all day. I got paid to play with dogs for 2 hours. TLDR walked dogs. Made $1,200 extra per month and loved it. 1. Translating text from German, English, via elements or personal contacts, often menus for restaurants. 2. Mystery shopping. When I can fit it sensibly around my other commitments, Helio on rAskReddit.com. This month I generated about $250 from asking about swapping energy providers and the $5 for getting my car washed. 3. Occasional tutoring. I guest lecture at some local vocational colleges about my profession, teaching English to children language acquisition. From 50-100 per session, planned once. Already delivered 6 times. 4. Selling dirty socks, and lately, jeans. I read about it here and it's true, there are those who buy them. Biggest problem is I only have 2 feet, which don't sweat so much in winter, and eBay keep cancelling my auctions. Missed out on 30A this week already. I take part in focus groups at a local market research firm. You can usually just call these places up and ask to get put into their databases. On average I only take part in 1 group per month, but they pay between $20 $30 an hour, so I normally take home around $50. The focus groups are good fun. Anything from tasting beers to giving feedback on ideas for ads or plan development for apps. Edit. A few people asking how to find these groups. These companies offer market research services to businesses. You should just do a Google search for that in your local area and give them a call to see if they have a participants database that you could be added to. Probably a little late to the party, but I sell UGR cards. It's amazing how much trading card games can cost. Through UGR, I've gotten to travel to 3 countries, 10 states and countless cities. Although not nearly as expensive to play as Magic, I've been able to make over $40,000 after working about 500 hours. Which is pretty decent for a college student. It's also great because, much like finance, you need to be knowledgeable about the market, keep up with current trends, and try to predict future ones. All in all, it's a very enjoyable experience and has taught me a lot. Late to the party here. But oh well. I've wanted to tell this story for a while. Back in high school I knew a girl who decided to become a prostitute. She was a good friend of mine. So naturally I thought this was a bad idea. But that changed. See, the thing is, this girl was hot. Like really hot. And she wasn't standing on a corner or anything. She just let the word spread. She wouldn't fuck anybody. Only people she wanted to fuck. Basically she got paid to have sex with guys she wanted to have sex with anyway. After a few months she had like $20,000 and quit. Never got an STD. Never got pregnant. It blew my mind. There is a man that pays me a few $100 to spit in his dinner every few months. In the months in between he pays me a little bit too. for me setting him tasks. Edit to add. Should have put this in past tense. At the end of last year, after a few years though, he realized that the same amount of money he was paying me to turn up with a friend in tow and spits in his food then bid him adieu. He could get a proper dom to peg him and ash in his mouth and put him on some kind of spinny wheel. No hard feelings, sissy. I became an elected government official. Basically a member of a town council of a teeny tiny town. Didn't even have to run for office. Because there weren't enough people to fill the required council seats. I get about $5.6k per year. For about 4 hours a week. Every other week, all from about 6:00 p.m. during a couple of weekdays. About 2 hours a week average. Requirements: have to live in the town. Have to make it to meetings. As a side note, I could never get elected in a real election. My political and religious affiliations do not match the prevalent leanings and beliefs of the town at all. But when I'm the only one raising my hand to participate, no problem. I used to build websites for people. And was moderately successful for a while. My failure was a desire to please 100% of my clients 100% of the time. And not tell shitty clients where to stick it. Eventually I started subcontracting the actual work and just focused on managing the subcontractors. And that was a net positive experience because I acquired some good business skills. But it really did take the joy out of something I used to love. Which was building interactive websites applications. The landscape has changed these days. So I doubt I could do any line level technical work without some serious retraining. And by now I've got other passions. I've got a 70%-ish complete ebook on how to build your own website business. If there's any interest maybe I can post it somewhere. Edit. Thanks all that have expressed interest. I'm going to hole up this weekend and finish the rough draft. I already have close. Trusted acquaintances that can handle both content and continuity editing and with graphic design. But I do appreciate the offers. Good luck to all the others out there that are hanging out their shingle. 2. I make films for children's parties. I get given a particular theme, Star Wars was the last one, and rich parents who just want to distract their children for an afternoon pay me to make a film with their kid and said kid's friends. The kids love it. The parents can relax whilst I do all the work with another person and they get a cool little 7-10 minute film at the end of it all. Making them look like a Jedi Knight or a mini James Bond. I grow saltwater coral anemones and the occasional fish. The fish don't usually make up most of the money I make. I am constantly selling clean excess water from my tank to others who fuck up and need to replace the water in theirs. After 6 months 6 years the return on coral and anemones is ridiculous. Plus live rock and everything else. I can make an easy $1,500 to $2,500 a month on the side for doing nothing but paying my electric bill. From what I know of friends who have had saltwater tanks I think for doing nothing but paying my electric bill may be a bit of an exaggeration. But if you love it and find it easy enjoyable then more power to you. Making money doing what you love and helping to grow your hobby for others sounds like a win-win to me. I don't think I would be up for it personally. With my coral only tanks. It really is that simple. They are a closed system. I don't have to feed anything in the tank. As long as the temperature in my basement is constant. And I pay the electric bill. The lights and pumps will keep it going forever. Throwaway account. I do other people's desk jobs for them. With more and more jobs being telecommute. I just work multiple jobs from home at the same time. Imagine working a desk job where you spend all day on Reddit and very little time working. Now. Imagine if that was a telecommute job where you worked from home every day. Now imagine if you could pay someone else to do that job for you. Possibly only being pulled in once every few weeks for a question and paying off a portion of your salary. That's what I do. I take people's jobs off their hands. They keep their benefits and a few bucks an hour and go do something else with their life. I babysit their job. Use auto-clickers and anti-idlers to make them look active. Chat programs. Watch emails. Maybe do some actual work now and then. Etc. It's basically office space. At home. Several times. Simultaneously. What started off as a side job doing this once is now a full-time gig. I will have paid off all my debt, minus my mortgage, in 6 months, and my wife will be able to quit her job by summer. I tutor business calc students in college. I have no degree at all. But I took the class once and sat through it another time just to have a huge grasp on it. Business calc is usually a course business majors have to take, and most of them are not overly confident in calculus. So I just take advantage of business majors that don't know calc. I charge $40 an hour, minimum 2 hours, and have at least 2 students a night. It started as a way to make side money and now it's all I do. I make $900 a week. Started making custom vinyl decals for myself with a Cricut. Then started making some for friends. Sales bought me a respectable vinyl cutter and heat press from rAskReddit.com. Now I make decals and custom shirts. Makes me an extra $200, $300 per month. I also recently started working with kydex, gun holsters and knife sheaths. I've just about made back enough to cover the startup, new tools. Materials $350. I just like working with my hands and creating things that I and others want, need or use. I build custom longboards. It's pretty simple. I just glue the ply, cut and sand, drill holes, and then put grip tape on. Then my girlfriend or any other artistic friend paints the design on it. I sell a custom deck for about $80, $90 depending on what people ask for design. And supplies only cost about $30. But if somebody asks for a complete board, I can sell it for about $160, $180. I've mostly only done it for friends or acquaintances. Nothing too serious yet. About 12 years ago there was a huge Ugg boot craze. My wife wanted a pair for Christmas, but you could only find them on eBay. They were double the retail price. I did a ton of research and found a supplier. I bought the last 2 pair and sold one on eBay. I pretty much got her pair for free. They called me back a few days later and let me know they received more. I ordered as many as I could afford and kept selling them. We made close to $20K in a 2-month period.